So those of you who are on here who were called, I think you should feel special. So, because we wanted you to be on the call. And, you know, again, I'm just going to say retirees are really busy. So it's hard to find a good time, but we may have a few more participants to join us. And, you know, spread the word and let us know how this goes today. Normally we have a luncheon at the college. We were hoping to get a couple of out-of-town people who might normally not be able to attend a luncheon in person. But here we are, and this is the best group for this call. So we're glad you're all here. I wanted to make sure that you all knew Tom Hartman. Some of you overlapped with Tom, so he won't be a new face for you, but some of you, Tom will be a relatively new face in terms of ACC time, which in some ways stretches back decades. There's a lot of history on this call right now, Tom. And there's a lot of stories in this group.
How long has Tom been there?
I've been here just 4 years.
Really?
Just completed my 4th year. Yep.
My goodness.
It's like a blip in ACC time.
It is.
I've been retired longer than that now. That's hard to believe.
Oh my goodness, Jeannie, that is amazing.
I know. I'm coming August 1st. It'll be 5 years. It seems like yesterday.
That is amazing. Well, Jeannie, since you're talking, why don't you introduce yourself to Tom and let him know what you did while you were here.
Hey, Tom, I'm Jeannie Proctor, and I was at ACC for 30 years full-time and a year and a half part-time.
Oh.
I was head of the early childhood program.
Awesome.
I know who you are.
You do, Tom. I know, you look a little familiar.
Long time.
Other Tom.
Nice to meet
So Jeannie, we like to call Chris Ketchum the new Jeannie.
Oh, well, she is probably 10,000 times better than I was. I love Chris. I was delighted that she was chosen to follow me.
You're the best, Jeannie.
Oh, Susan, you're my #1 fan.
Well, Sheila, introduce yourself. We know you're a fairly recent retiree, but your stats are still impressive.
Alrighty, I was at ACC for 34 years, full-time for 32, and then part-time for the other 2 bits and pieces of it strung together. And I was director of the Learning Resources Center. That's the library, the Scott Collection, and the tutoring center. And January 1st was my retirement date.
Really? Do you ever hear from Laura?
I have not heard from Laura in a good while. The last I heard, she taught at Durham Tech for a while. She taught English there. I don't think she's teaching anywhere now, though.
She got married again.
She did. She married again. She's got well, she's not new now, but she has a granddaughter. I think it's her second son's daughter. And I haven't really. I think I saw her maybe 2 years ago, or it could be a little longer than that. Every once in a while, there's a Laura sighting, and that's about it.
All right. Well, I'm just going across my screen as you're ordered on my screen. I'm not sure if it's matching, but Dave Turnage, you would be up next. So Dave, tell us about all the many things you did at ACC.
Well, I think I've been retired longer than I work at ACC. I taught for several years in the area of math and physics and drafting and all. And then I became director of occupational education and did a lot of paperwork through the years. I've been retired more than 20 years now. It's hard to believe.
Wow.
Really?
It
Wow.
doesn't seem like that, Dave.
I wish I could say there's not so much paperwork, but
It's hard to get away from paperwork.
yes.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yes. Tom Connolly, do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Tom Connolly, and I was in the chemistry department, head of the chemistry department from 1995 to the first day of 2011, 16 years. And,
For a while, Tom.
Wow.
and among other things, I made boomerangs and I did origami and did a little teaching too.
Tom
Okay,
had a heart attack. Are you doing better now?
Well, I'm walking about 2 miles a day or every other day. And I have a stress test in the morning. I had a little blip and I went to the doctor a couple of weeks ago and he said he needed to do a stress test. So hopefully it's not anything too bad.
Oh, I hope not, Tom.
Who knows?
Who knows?
As
Susan,
they say, it is what it is.
Susan, introduce yourself.
I'm Susan Dalton. I taught English and Aikido for 29 years as full-time. And this is my first semester being an adjunct. I'm teaching one class and I'm really enjoying it.
And Rosemary?
I'll put us, hi
Hi, there she
everyone.
is.
I started at ACC in 2006. My first day of retirement was January 1st, 2021, and it has been marvelous. And I was in the nursing program. I was nursing faculty for the past 14 to 15 years. And I will say ACC was probably the best job I have had over my 40 some years in nursing.
Wow. Wow. Thank you,
I can say
Rosemary.
that.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Does anybody want to make a guess of how long I've been here?
18 years.
Yeah, you know too much.
Is that right?
Is that right?
2 years to Cassie.
I know. You can date it by my children. I know. I came and Cassie was about 6 months old. So
Okay.
Wow.
she'll be a senior in high school next year.
Wow.
Oh, goodness.
Awesome.
So,
Well, Carolyn, you're getting better looking with age.
oh, well, Dave, I'm going to just hang out with you more. Okay. All right. Well, some of you know, because you're fairly recent retirees or have been around. Sorry, my phone is ringing. We have Tom on here. There is an extraordinary amount of construction and renovation. And I think about every other day we get an email about this is blocked off. This is being worked on. Sorry about all the noise in this building. You won't have internet today. Today you won't have phone service or whatever it might be, no electricity. So they're doing a great job of working around the students, working around the faculty, employees. And I think there's work being done in every single building here as we do backfills, plus 2 new buildings are being planned. So Tom has a whole bunch of slides he wants to share with you. And you know, I said this is a real friendly group. I said you guys were all really quiet. It might not have any, no. If you have questions, feel free to interrupt him. So Tom, I'll let you take it away now that I've given you that introduction.
Very good. Well, thank you. Appreciate everybody having me here today. And it's really nice to meet all of you and Sheila, to see you again. We got to know each other a little bit over the 4 years that since I've been here. So, but yeah, I'm gonna try to share my screen. When I share my screen, I won't necessarily be able to see you folks. So you may have to say, hey, stop. I have a question. So I'll know. I won't be able to see your faces. So let me try to share the screen and we'll see if this works. Righty. All right. Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, very good. This may just work out perfect for us. Okay. What I'd like to share with you is just, again, I've tried to put together a lot of the capital projects that we're working on, everything from, of course, the bond projects, the county bond projects, which are the big ones we're doing, but we have a lot of other ones as well. And I'll kind of walk you through. I've got some renderings of what buildings will look like. I've got some photos of some construction in process. So if you have questions as we go through or at the end, I can always go back to it. So, but this is a brief overview. So let me walk through this with you. Of course, our county bond construction projects that most of you are probably aware of, the 4 that are kind of in play right now. The Biotechnology Center of Excellence in Parking, which is our new building that's going to be right at the corner of the highway, 17.56 million. The Student Services Center, which is going to be right at the front of campus. It'll be the new kind of entrance to the campus, and I'll show you some renderings of that one. The Public Safety and Training Center, which will be off-site, that's going to be in green level, 10.4 million. And then our final project that's in play right now is our Modernized Instructional Space, Technology and Child Care Center upgrade of 4.4 million. And that one's just getting off the ground. So I'll kind of walk you through each one of these. So of course, the Biotech Center of Excellence, this is a rendering of what it will look like as you're coming, I guess that would be westbound on I-80/45. So again, the whole purpose is to, it's going to finally give the college a presence on the highway. All that traffic that goes by, and it's also been made and designed with a lot of glass, so it can be kind of somewhat of a, a lantern, if you will, for the campus as people drive by. Here's a little closer as you're coming along. You're off the exit now, coming along Jimmy Kerr Road. That's the first thing that you'll see. Again, a lot of glass. And this is as you're coming down Jimmy Kerr Road, getting ready to enter in driveway 1. This is more of an evening or a dusk shot of what the building will look like from Jimmy Kerr. This is once you're on to campus and you're actually looking from the main campus toward the highway. That's the image that you'll have. And as you can see, it's designed with some outdoor spaces as well. This is the plaza seating that will be out in front of the building for student use, of course. There's also a balcony that's going to be part of this off the second floor. And for corporate events, for foundation events, community events, it'll be a really nice showplace for folks to be able to the community to be a part of. This is yeah. Oh, thank you. We're very excited about this. It's really gonna. Like I said, the image we're going to have from the highway, it'll really stand out. This is if you're standing in the lobby of the building, looking out, and you can see there's actually a grassy area, and we've put together an area that's going to be an exterior student seating area where they could have outdoor classes there, up in the back of the picture there. If we go in the building itself is going to have a lot of color and wood, a lot of openness to it. This is the first floor lobby looking into what would be like the entry for the director's offices. This is a shot of what the second floor, there's going to be a space for students for collaboration and study. A lot of video monitors throughout. We're looking at doing a lot more with kind of bringing up the technology of the building, since it is such a key scientific building. This will kind of walk you through the floor plans of the building itself. This is the first floor, and see if I can get my mouse. So you can see my mouse down here. This is where you'll enter. This section down here at the bottom, that's where the faculty, the director, and a seminar room are located. On the first floor, we'll also have 2 24-person classrooms that can be opened up into a larger space for events, for speakers, things of that nature. And then of course at the back, we have an area that's kind of collaboration space for students when they're working in groups, or even if there's an outside individual in biotech that is, wants to have a place to meet with students, that would be a place they could go. The second floor is really where all the get that out of the way, is where all the really the classrooms are located. So histotechnology lab, bioag clean room, biomanufacturing support, a biomanufacturing lab. Again, a lot of things are done to mimic what the students are going to see out there, in the real world with, wet prep and lab prep. And we'll also have a general teaching area in the back. And again, this is that student collaboration area I showed you a rendering of. And then down here at the bottom, that's That's the outdoor balcony that we have for the students. And then finally, the third floor is really set up as shell space, and that was done intentionally that, you know, as these programs grow and expand, this building will give us another entire floor to expand into when needed. We didn't do that with the Applied Technology building, and we ran out of space in there almost right when it opened up. So this time we've got a building that's going to give us the ability to add to. The Student Services Center, this is a rendering what the Student Services Center will look like, and I'll show you where it's going to be located. What we're trying to do with this building is to try, because of the way the campus is on the hillside that I'm sure you're all aware of. A lot of the campus buildings, you can't really see them from Jimmy Kerr Road. This building is going to be built up, so we have some visibility from Jimmy Kerr Road, and this will be the first building that people, for the most part, would enter. You know, a new student for admissions, for financial aid, things of that nature. This is where it'll be located. So this is the current literacy building on the right-hand side of your screen. Right now, this is parking. So this parking will become the area where the Student Services Center is built. You'll be able to enter in off the parking area. And then if you exit the back of the building, this actually takes you across to main building where the bridge is that goes into the main building of the campus. So that access will still be there. And the building's being designed so that we have expansion room on this side as well for the future.
Tom,
Yeah.
I just have a quick question, going back to that previous slide. So will there continue the ability to drive around there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Initially, we were going to keep this as just more of a student pedestrian area, but we want to still have the ability to have the drop-off ability for students and staff here, as well as we're going to be bringing the various community bus lines that are currently going to the bus stop over, kind of where the Center of Excellence is going to go. We want to have the bus stop here, so they loop around this area.
Right. Okay. And so the daycare circle will remain.
That will remain. Yep.
Those of us who spent a lot of time in the daycare circle once upon a time.
Yep, that will stay there. This is the back of the building. Even though the building really doesn't have a back, if you will, they've designed it so it will have a good visual look from both sides, but you can see how it's somewhat built on a hill. The main floor is the second floor, and that's what you enter from the parking lot, and I'll show you the floor plan in a minute. And then this is the lower level. Again, if you cross this road here, you may actually get right to the main building bridge right there. So this is your floor plan, and again, this is a building that will house admissions, financial aid, student success, and the registrar's office, as well as we have some flex space. So the main entrance off the parking lot will take you into what's considered more or less the second floor, and admissions and all of their offices and testing are on the right-hand side. And then financial aid and a cashier's office are all on the left-hand side. And then this lobby is open to the lower level and all the glass in the back of the building. So if we go down to the lower level, this is the student success area to the right. This is the registrar's office to the left. And then as you came down that monumental stairway, it brings you into a flexible space that we've designed that, for the most part, these two rooms, flex space 2 and 3, will remain, set up as two separate rooms for admissions, events, financial aid seminars, things of that nature. However, all of these walls can collapse, so this turns into one large space for maybe it's a staff faculty meeting, maybe it's a foundation event that's held in that area.
How many people in that space, Tom?
I can't tell you offhand. It's more than we have now.
Well, that's saying something.
Yeah, where we fit people in now, but it was designed to get us as much use in that area as possible. And it's also designed that down the road, as we grow and expand, we may have to turn these areas into office space as well. It gives us that ability to do that. So this building has a lot of flexibility with it. So that's Student Services. Public Safety Training Center, if you're not familiar with where that's located, again, it's in green level. It's this parcel of land right here. So it's right at the corner of Sandy Cross Road and Yanceyville Road, if that is familiar to anyone. It's the Martin Marietta
Highway
property.
49.
Highway 49, yep, it's the Martin Marietta property. And the college is leasing basically this section that I'm kind of circling right here. The right side here, this is kind of blurry, but just to give you an idea, there's actually two parcels. This parcel on the right is going to be where the training center is located. The parcel on the left is going to be left pretty much as it is right now, because it's going to be a search and rescue parcel for, for the BLET for their training, for emergency responders to train. The right-hand side, that's where we're going to be building things like a burn building. There'll be an indoor firing range, a driving pad. There'll be a classroom space as well. So, and it's going to give us the ability over time to even expand more into that area. The timing on this one is we're just now getting into design starting this probably summer on this one. So construction won't start on this until fall of 22 for that one. And to back up on the Student Services Center, construction starts on that one right around September, October of this year. And then the Center of Excellence construction is slated to begin at the end of June. So this, as Carolyn said, will be a construction site everywhere you look. All right, this is not a bond project. This is a Connect NC bond project. What this is, I'm sure you're familiar with the old shop building where welding, horticulture, where auto shop was located. They've now, of course, other than horticulture, those other two programs have moved to the Advanced Applied Technology Center, and this will now be the home for horticulture and animal care. So you can see we took this rendering shows you where the overhead doors were for the auto shop right down there, turned into windows in classrooms and labs. This is the inside of what the rendering will look like. And this is under construction right now, slated to be complete by the end of May, and moving everybody in there by the end of May, beginning of June. So if you ever were in the shop building, I don't know if you ever were, it didn't look like this.
Oh.
It was dark, pretty dark and ugly. So, and it'll have air conditioning, which it never had air conditioning before either. So this is like a student commons area. So they'll have a break area. This is what it looks like as of about a week ago. So this is where I was showing you before, where the windows are going to be going in, where the overhead doors for the shop, for the auto shop, were located. And this is another interior shot of some of the construction. There's a faculty area to the right. They'll have a break area for them. And then that's the hallway going down to the classrooms and labs on the left. So again, that one we hope to have finished by the end of May. Early college. Early college is going to be taking over the entire first floor of B building. So where this rendering is again, if you're familiar, this is the first floor lobby of B building closest to A building. So if you're standing in the back of the campus looking at the building, it's all the way to the left. This will be their entrance. This is where people will come in to early college. So we're going to move all the early college classrooms that are now in different parts of main building. They'll all be moved down here. And this is what that first floor will look like. It will have access control on both ends. So only, folks that have badges, staff, faculty, students will be able to enter that. So we'll have a secure area for the high school students. They'll have some collaboration spaces outside of their classroom. This project begins construction in June. As soon as the shop building is done, they start to work on this one. All right, this is the main building commons and dining, and this is all part of the backfill project as well. This will start also starting in late May, early June. And it's basically, go for the most part, gutting that whole
This one.
first
Remember
floor.
what the first floor looked like?
Yeah, where the dining was at.
So it's gonna look like.
Yep. So it's the only thing we can't do is the second floor. We haven't been able to, didn't have the funds to do anything with the second floor, but all the lighting will be changed and painted and new flooring, some really nice seating areas. The other thing we're doing is, as part of this project, is making it more ADA accessible. And that's what this picture is. You might remember there's ramps that go down into the lower commons. We have to remove one of those, which is what this is. This is part of our ADA improvements to make it fit ADA requirements. So that's all going to get repoured. We're doing ADA improvements in restrooms down by the mailroom, fire door ADA improvements, etc. So and we're also going to be doing a new ADA stairway and ramp outside of A building. Again, if you're familiar with when you walk out of A building, Carolyn, I'm trying to even give you a better feel. It's where Justin's office is located, where the dean's office is located.
Okay, where Wally used to be.
Yes. Yep.
Where Wally used to be. I don't know if that helps some of you.
If you go out that door, there's a pretty steep concrete stairway that goes down that's somewhat kind of crumbling. That's
Going towards the shop building,
going
right?
down toward the shop building in the street. Yep, that's going to go away, and it'll be a ramped area for students and faculty staff that have any mobility issues. They'll be able to use a ramp to go up and down there along with a stairway. So it's a nice improvement because the campus is such that it's tough for people to get around, and we're trying to do things to make it more accessible.
While we're looking at that ramp, Tom, I'm sorry, you keep having to go back to that, but I have heard tell, and there may be people on this call that remember when graduation was held in this space. Is that right? Dave?
It was shortly before I came, and I heard all kinds of horror stories about that evening.
Okay, so was it just one time that graduation was in this space?
I think so. Dave could probably tell us more.
I know that I've been at events up on the second floor, very crowded events where that whole balcony can really move.
That's not good.
No, it's an unusual feeling. So, by the way, up around the reception area, it really starts to go like this if it's very crowded.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing for folks that don't like the red brick that's all down there, that's all going away. So that's all going to be removed. There's been people that, Scott Queen for one, hated the red brick. So we're going to make sure we send him a little piece of it once we take a piece out.
Honestly, the fundraiser on this call is saying we could maybe sell those bricks. So don't be mashing them.
I don't know how they're going to come out. So we'll see what we can do.
They're a bit of history. Some
true.
folks may have some nostalgia about them.
Very true. If you see anything, Carolyn, throughout that is going to be demolished, even from handrails or whatever, let me know.
Okay, I don't think we can sell the handrails though. I'm not sure.
But a brick maybe. Okay.
Maybe a brick. We could do something nice with the brick. Just a thought.
And then this is another project that's really under construction right now. And this is the Culinary Arts expansion. This is in A building, the second floor of A building. It's the classrooms that Culinary typically held a lot of their dining events, and a lot of even the college breakfasts and things were held down there. So it's getting, totally redone so that the dining area will be looking something like this. But the main purpose of it is, and I'll show you the drawing. This is the drawing and the plan. So these are 3 classrooms in A building, and we currently have 3 classrooms there, but it's set up now so that they'll have 2 movable partitions. So this whole area can be opened up to dining. And again, it'll look more like this with the type of ceiling that you see there, new flooring, new paint, new walls. But the main thing is what you see over here to the right. And this is a teaching kitchen. This is something that the chefs have been asking for. It's more what students are going to use and experience out in the real world. From entry and exit to the kitchen for serving, practicing serving. The other piece that is a big piece of this project, this is what it looks like right now under construction, but this is the entrance to the kitchen. So, you have an in and an out. So they're going to learn how to maneuver, going back and forth. But this is the big piece that's going to be put in the kitchen. It's called a Heston. It's a Heston modular island. And this Heston island is going to go right under this big vent that you see here. And it's something that you see in commercial grade kitchens. You see them in restaurants. And the students are going to be able to learn how to use that and work with that. And it's modular, so they can actually change components out of it depending on what they're doing at the time. So this is under construction right now, is slated to be complete by the end of May. All right, and the last one I'm going to show you here, this is one that's getting ready to start. The EMS program is, as you may or may not know, is growing by leaps and bounds. The enrollment is growing like crazy, and they've outgrown any space that we've given them. So now we're going to give them some dedicated space on the second floor of B building. They'll have 6,300 square feet of dedicated space, plus another 1,800 square feet of shared space. And what we're going to be creating there are a lot of simulation labs. So for example, they'll have the ability to have a simulated emergency room with the sims, or those sim patient dolls that you see there. They'll have a simulated residence that will actually be like a little mini apartment. So they'll learn how to, maneuver that apartment, take a patient to the emergency room. They'll also have a control room, and that's what this two-way mirror is right here. So the staff and the faculty will be behind that, and they'll be able to set up scenarios through again the sims, through these mannequins and whatnot that they use, and we'll be able to practice and grade the students that way. And then finally on the right, they'll even have a simulated ambulance in one of the areas that will help them to practice those activities as well. So our program coordinator is very, very excited about this. They're also working on and I don't have all the detail on this one, but it's a communication tool that will allow them to communicate directly with fire departments and other emergency crews throughout the county for feedback back and forth for the students and for their learning. So again, this is on the second floor of B building. This construction starts in, I think, late May, and it'll be done before the fall semester begins.
Tom, I sat in on a presentation that Alex did yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I thought this was really interesting for Rosemary's benefit. Rosemary, they'll have the nursing students in this training area. They will be watching to see what the paramedics and EMS folks are doing with the patient, and practicing that handoff to the ER and the communications. So the data that's collected in the field will be, the nurses will be understanding what information they'll be getting and what more that they need. They'll improving that communication. I thought it was really fascinating. So the nurses will be watching the EMTs in the ambulance, and the EMTs will turn around and watch the nurses in the ER to make sure that there's continuity of care.
Excellent. Excellent.
So that's all the slides I have. Does anybody have any questions or comments or feedback?
All looks good to me.
Thanks.
What are they going to do with the G building, when they moved student services out of there?
That's still a topic we're having conversation about in terms of what the best use of that hallway will be. We definitely need space for, faculty offices and
Library.
and the library. Sheila, I want to mention to you that last.
She's a single issue voter.
That last.
Yes, that's it.
That
We
last.
want the entire
digital
G
now.
building.
That last bond project that I mentioned to you that's just ready to go out for seeking designers includes renovations to the library. So that's all part of that. And we'll be getting the staff of the library involved in it in terms of stakeholder meetings as we move forward.
And possibly community retirees who want to volunteer in that process.
There you go.
Next thing you know, Sheila will want a robot
It's true.
It
A
sells
book,
the
the book
books.
retrieval robot like they have at State, we
Yeah,
can do
yeah.
that.
The book bot or whatever that is.
Yeah, that's what they call it, the book butt.
Bookbot.
I've seen it, yeah.
Now, what will happen with the bond money that was allocated for the child care center? Because I understand that there are changes going on there.
A lot of that will be, again, there's updates that are going to be done to the child care center. But again, those funds will be used as part of other backfill within that, the instructional areas. So in terms of upfitting classrooms, other
So
classrooms in the
early
area.
childhood will benefit from some of that.
Yep. And that's all part of what when we get our stakeholder groups together, they'll help us to determine the best use for that. You know, because we have a lot of priorities. One of the big priorities we have that we want to have as part of this last bond project is upfitting and upgrading the skill center. That's an area we plan to do as part of that, instructional upfit.
Or is there any talk of having one dedicated room for PE? Like, I know we haven't done Aikido because of COVID, and yoga has not been in person. It's also been through Zoom. But, now that people are getting vaccinated and the PE classes are going to start up, it'd be fantastic to have a room where you don't have to move all the furniture in order to have that class, because my class would have to move the furniture out and then at the end put it all back up, and that takes quite a bit of your instructional time to take the room down and put it back up.
We're hopeful that some of that type of stuff can happen, because once all of this build out gets done and we get people in their new buildings or their new areas, we get ABSS early college down to their area. We're going to look at how best to use all that space. We're still really tight. I mean, we always are looking for more classrooms, more offices, more storage. So, and more money to do the renovations that we need to do. So we have a list of at least, it's $3 to $5 million of unfunded projects that, I've got on a list that, as funding becomes available, the state's talking about providing more. Like, I think there's a bond that they're talking about putting out for construction. So we're hoping for more funds to be able to do a lot of those things that we can't do with the current funding that we have.
Is the EMT program going to be in that big classroom on the 3rd floor of A building, or is that still going to be the yoga Aikido classroom?
Yeah, they might be in there during this construction portion, but they're all going to be moving to the 2nd floor of B building.
Oh, the 2nd floor. Okay.
Yep.
Tom, I have a question in regards to nursing. Before I left, there was talk about expanding our space, which, is still desperately needed. Is that one of the projects that has not yet been funded that you have on your docket?
No, that's actually part. That's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. That's actually part of the 4th bond project that I had on that list, the instructional backfill, the $4.4 million. Once the biotech folks move, out of Powell building, that's going to give us the ability to go back and upfit that area for nursing.
Oh, okay. So it is funded and it's going to happen.
That's the plan. Our biggest problem is the unknowns we have right now is we have so much we want to do, and the project budgets are pretty tight. You'd think $4.4 million would go a long way. It doesn't go as far as you would like it to go. And plus, we're also running into, partly because of the pandemic, construction costs are on the rise. Just the cost of wood, steel, supply chain issues, it could impact what we're able to do. And hopefully that project's far enough out that maybe things will settle down a little bit by then. We can get more for our money.
Hopefully. Okay, thanks.
This group, and I include a wider group of retirees when I say this, has been very helpful in past bond referendums. And as you know, we're limited, state employees are, in going out and advocating, but retirees, you're wide open. We know you're wide open. So, and that really helps us quite a bit. And you all can articulate the need without some of the constraints.
Well, thank you for sharing all this with
Mhm.
us. It's very inspiring.
Well, thank
Yes.
you all for you're the folks that got all this started. I came here after it was all, moving forward and have been able to take it from there. So it's exciting. It's going to be, for the folks that are here, it's going to be again, a construction site and issues and parking issues and, all those kinds of things you deal with construction. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to have a really transformed campus. Didn't get to mention, Carol, I didn't have any pictures of the native prairie and the platform that you were a part of.
Yes. Well, I'll just, you all know the grassy area, kind of on the curve as you go behind the college. There's that grassy area that was mown for years and years. That is being slowly, very slowly, turned into a native prairie. And we do have what we hope will be at some point a outdoor classroom. The deck itself is built. Lumber costs have gone up. They've quadrupled in the past year. So we thought it would be a nice outdoor classroom. It ended up being a deck with the funding available. But we are actively searching for ways to put a roof on that deck. Tom, I'm working with Connie on that. We have a couple of places that would be nice to have an outdoor learning area for our science classes, which include high school. And it will be a model of maintaining a riparian buffer so that as rain falls and washes across the campus and goes through a native prairie, that's better filtered than just a plain grassy field for the health of the river. So it has a couple of benefits with that. So again, Tom lives this every day, but construction costs are crazy right now. It is nuts. And the school system is renovating 4 high schools and building a whole new high school as well. So there's a lot of demand locally for renovation. So I wanted to make sure, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning. Did Barb mention to you all that we are recording this? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes,
I'll have a little sign up in the corner of the screen that said it
there's
was.
a note up
Okay,
there.
all right. So we are going to be making this available on our website. So if you talk to other folks who you're like, wow, it was so cool, you should see this, you can encourage them to go on and watch the video and see all of our beautiful faces and recollect those good times. So do you all have any other questions about things that are going on campus?
I have one thing I'd like to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is speaking to Tom. I think you are really pretty perfect for that situation, according to what you've gone over today. I've enjoyed your talk very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And
Yes.
please, I hope you come out to campus as we move forward and see as things develop.
We're definitely in good hands with Tom. He's doing a great job. He's one of our associate VPs. Dr. Gatewood has done some reorganizations. I think many of you are familiar with Connie Wolf, who's our current EVP. We have a brand new instructional VP and Dr. Lisa Johnson, who came to us from CCCC. And Scott Queen has left us. He left the building and went out to Blue Ridge. We miss him, but he's getting some great experiences.
Who was that?
Scott Queen
Oh, yeah.
has left and gone to Blue Ridge. So that was a big change that happened in the last year. Gary Saunders continues over continuing education. And of course, we still have Sonia, Dave Frazee, and Justin Snyder as our 3 curriculum deans. So, things are changing. Things are remaining the same in some ways.
Sarah Thin is the new library director,
Sarah is in the library. Yes.
doing
Okay.
a great job.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Who was the library director?
Sarah Thin, she was the reference librarian, and now she's the director of the Learning Resources Center.
Learning Resources Center.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Any other thoughts? Any other
Thank you for doing this. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Well, everybody send good thoughts to
Appreciate
Tom. He
that.
has an
Yeah.
exhausting job.
I'm only slightly stressed.
You did great.
You're not even showing it.
Yes, you are doing great.
Thank you.
Awesome job.
And we
Appreciate
would
it.
love to see you on campus just as soon as we can. We're gonna have all kinds of groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings and we are having a groundbreaking for the Biotech Center on May 7th, if any of you are interested, at 11. And it will be in person and on Zoom. So just RSVP to me if you're interested. That will be exciting to see that project get going. We've been talking about that for a really long time.
Yes, we have. Well, thank you all. I appreciate it. I
Thank you.
appreciate spending some time with
Thank
you.
you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye,
Thank
everybody. I
you.
miss
Bye.
you.
Bye.
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 Bye.